Hello and welcome to the tutorial on making a frequency table for qualitative data. We're going to make this a brief video to go through this quickly and show you how to make a frequency table for the 50 purchases of soft drink in column A. Well, first off, let's split this screen up. Let's come down here. We'll split the screen. Okay, so we can see our 50 purchases, which extend from A2. I will shift click to select the entire range down to A51, 50 purchases of 5 different brands of soft drink. Over here in column C, we have already typed in the 5 different brands purchased here. Coke Classic, Diet Coke, Pepsi Cola, Dr. Pepper, and Sprite. Now in column D, we want to put in the frequencies. How many Coke Classic purchases? How many Diet Cokes were purchased? How many purchases of Pepsi Cola, Dr. Pepper, Sprite? Okay, to do this, we're going to use a function called COUNTIF. The COUNTIF function. Let me click on D2 here, and let me double click here so we can see it being put directly into the cell. Okay, there are many ways to put functions in, but we're going to start out here with just typing this one in. Okay, it's COUNTIF, so I type a C, and we get a list of all the functions that start with C. Now I typed a capital C, but you don't have to. It could be lowercase. It doesn't matter uppercase or lowercase. Later Excel will automatically change it to uppercase. So this is COUNTIF, C-O. Okay, these are all the functions starting with C-O, C-O-U. Okay, now we're getting fewer here. We can see it in one list. And here it is, our COUNTIF function. Okay, I can click on this and double click, and there it comes. COUNTIF with an opening parentheses. Now the tooltip underneath tells us, right here, we can see that we need to have the range. Excel wants to know, where do we look? Okay, so we're going to look in A2. I click on A2. Then I move the mouse down to A51. Now I did not drag. My fingers are off the mouse button now. Okay. No fingers on the mouse button. I move the mouse down to A51. Hold the Shift key down. Hold the Shift key down and click once. Okay, it's called a shift click. A shift click. Let me do it again. I'll come up and click on A2. Then I move the mouse down and shift click. Hold the Shift key down and click. Okay, so that selected the entire range from A2 to A51. And if we come back to our function up here, we see A2 to A51. Now later we're going to copy this function down, and we don't want the search range to change. So I'm going to type the F4 key once and change that reference to an absolute reference. So we have an absolute reference there, and that finishes off our range, where we're looking. Okay, next we need to know what we're looking for. So we go to the next argument. I type a comma. Okay, I type in a single comma, not two of them. And we come to the value it is we're looking for. Well, we're looking for Coke Classics. We already have Coke Classic written in here, so I just click on C2. I leave that in relative referencing and close the parentheses. Okay, hit the Enter key, and 19. We've got 19 Coke Classics. So over here in this data, A2 down to A51, in this data set we have 19 purchases of Coke Classic. Well, how many Diet Cokes? We could go ahead, let me come back up here, we could go ahead and enter the same function, the same COUNTIF function, but we don't have to. I'm going to copy this down. Okay, and here we see 8 Diet Coke purchases. Now let me double click in here and look very carefully at this. Notice that the place where we look, A2 to A51, did not change. When we copied down, this did not change. It was an absolute reference. We're still looking in the same place. But the thing we're looking for, instead of C2, is now C3. That did change, and that's what we want. So in the same place, A2 to A51, now we look for Diet Cokes and count them up. Every time there's a Diet Coke, count it once. And there are 8 of them. Well, we can, of course, copy this down here, and we get the complete frequency table. 19, 8, 13, 5, and 5. That finishes it, I suppose, but one thing we might want to do is to verify that we indeed have counted everything. So if I come to the home menu, over here to the sum function, the active cell is right at the bottom of our frequency table, right down at the bottom. So if I hit this sum, meaning SUM, to add things up, I'll get the sum function, which adds things up, and it's automatically chosen the correct range to add up. So I just hit the enter key, and there we go. 50 data values, that's exactly what we want. It's all of our data. So we have finished a frequency table for qualitative data. Okay, thanks. I'll see you again in the next video where we'll expand this frequency table a bit, and we'll also, in a further video, make a graph. Goodbye, and good luck.